Welcome to our first episode of Ancient Testimonies, our ronwyatt.com podcast. And we will, of course, talk about the discoveries that God has revealed through Ron Wyatt. But there was another subject that was equally important to Ron and something that he talked about as much as he talked about the evidence of his discoveries. And that was winning souls for Jesus. And I'm honored to introduce our first guest of my very first ever podcast, Vicki Jackson. And she's better known as Victoria Jackson. She's a movie star, a TV star, a comedian. She's done everything. She's an amazing girl, I got to tell you. But I recognize her as a lady who loves Jesus and wants to win souls. I've watched her videos and I've heard her say more than once, I want everybody to be saved. And so I thought, this is somebody that Ron would have loved, and her message is one that he talked about all the time. And so I'd like to introduce to you Vicki Jackson. Thank you for being here.
Mary, now I'm honored to be your first guest on your first podcast. And I think in about a year, you're going to have 20 million followers. And I love your museum in your basement. It really touched my brain and my heart. It was fascinating and exciting that your late husband actually discovered where the Red Sea crossing was in the Old Testament in Exodus, where the Ark of the Covenant is. Very, very amazing story. And where Noah's Ark is. And what have I left out?
Oh, Sodom and Gomorrah. Did you say Sodom and Gomorrah?
No, I didn't say
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whenever I am, surfing on YouTube, which is what I do all day, and I come across somebody mentioning Ron Wyatt or mentioning the Ark, the Red Sea, and Noah, or Sodom and Gomorrah, I text you and I'm like, oh, they're talking about Ron again. Or, it's very exciting. And I feel like we have a secret that nobody knows. And I'm
I
so
know.
happy that maybe this will have people listen and they'll find out what this stuff that you know and you've seen. You went to Turkey with your husband. And you've seen things, you have photographs, you have artifacts, and you wrote a book about it. You should hold up your book right now. Where's your book you wrote about?
Where's my book? Well, here's the latest one.
Yeah, that one, Battle
Yeah.
for the Firstborn. Fascinating thing that most Christians don't know anything about Abraham, Isaac, Ishmael. And
Yeah.
I was at your house for 3 hours and we just touched the surface. So I'm really glad you're doing this.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you're here because you have a message. Like I said, I've heard you. I love on your YouTube channel where you'll say, "Hello, Bible readers," and then actually read the Bible.
Yes.
And that is what ancient testimony is. It's the ancient testimony, the Word of God. That's why we took that name. I would like you to start and tell us a little bit about your life. Now, I know that would take you forever, but you lived in Hollywood. I guess you lived in New York and different places, and you remained a Christian through it all. What was that like?
Wow. What was it like? I feel like everyone in the world already knows my life story. Don't you think everybody knows it?
I just want a little something.
A little taste of it. Well,
Yeah.
I learned about Jesus when I was a child because my father, who was a vaudevillian gymnast, juggler, trampolinist, acrobat, he married my mom and she was a Christian and she took him to church. And I think when they started to have kids, he was wondering what's he going to teach his children is the truth. And so I think that a lot of people, when they have kids, that's when they kind of start to really deep dive into what's true and what's life about and what's important in life. Because our lives are so short, they're over so fast, and we don't want to waste any time. So my dad became a Christian, and my whole childhood, I watched him study the Bible
Oh,
vociferously. What's the word with a P that's like passionately?
yeah.
Anyway, he studied the Bible all the time. And he said, I'm a slow reader and I can't retain anything. So he was always underlining and he would tell us what he was learning. He had the book, he had the Quran, he had the book called what's the one about cults? There's a big thick book of
Oh, yeah. I
cults and
don't know the name, but I've seen it. Yeah.
yeah, all the false religions in the world and he would say things to our family like, well, the difference between Christianity and all the other religions is all the other religions teach good works for salvation. Catholic, Hail Mary, do this, do that, give money, and maybe be good, maybe you'll make it. Islam is like be good and do follow the pillars and all of them are works for salvation. And he said Christianity is about God did the work because nothing we could do would ever be good enough for us
Right.
to be able to live with him in eternity and with he's holy. God is holy and we're not. And so that's why Jesus died on the cross for our sins to pay the penalty for our sin because he's a just God, not just a loving God, he's also just. And, these are big things, redemption and everything. But as a 6 year old, I understood like the gospel, good news of Jesus. It's simple enough for a child to understand, and it's deep enough for theologians to argue over for their whole lifetime. But so um, so when I was 6, I think I learned to read, and that's when John 3:16 hit me, my brain,
Oh,
because I heard it in church a lot, but I think when I could read and the words myself, I understood that Jesus didn't just die for the world, he died for me as an individual, and I had to, as an individual, accept this free gift of salvation and this relationship with him. So ever since I've been 6, felt I've known that I'm a daughter of the King of the universe. And then when I
mm,
was a teenager, my dad said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I don't know. And then he said, well, if you could be anything, what would you want to be? And I said, I want to be Julie. No, not Julie Andrews. I said, I want to be Maria in The Sound of Music.
mm.
And I want to have 7 children in matching outfits and play the ukulele on a mountain
Oh,
and be married to the captain and live in a big house. And and he said, well, it sounds like an actress. He said, I don't recommend it because show business and Christianity don't mix very well. But if that's what you want to be, give it 100%. So
wow.
So that's how I started my career. And it was very sage advice because show business it doesn't mix well, but Jesus does need Christians in the entertainment industry and it's a
Yes.
mission field. And I survived it. I mean, there was hard choices like you want to be in this movie, you know, you know, is this a movie a Christian should be in? A lot of tough choices, but I made it through, and now I'm an old retired grandmother of 5, and I love
Oh,
my life now.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is the first time in my life where I have time to watch movies and read, and I'm not hustling for the next job, so I can send my kids to a private Christian school to protect them from the
Yes,
world. That was, when you're a parent, that's your priority. And when you're 20, your career is your priority. But now my kids are doing great. They love Jesus. They're happily married. They're successful in their work. And I'm just so blessed that every morning I wake up and I say, a million thank yous, God, a million thank yous.
I don't blame you. What amazes me the most about you is, and I'm going to bring up a difficult subject because Christians sometimes, especially, say you've witnessed to somebody and you've finally made some headway, and then something happens and they come down with cancer. And I know that you're walking that journey now, but yet you still reflect the joy of Jesus. And I'd like to hear about that.
Oh, you're so cute. I love the way you talk. It's kind of like it's like Scarlett O'Hara. Where did you grow up? It had to be the South.
I was born in Columbia.
Oh, that's where I live. Wow, no wonder
Mhm.
why you have that Southern drawl.
Yeah. I didn't always live here, but I was born here and lived here for 12 years. Yeah.
Oh, well, I think everyone wants to know how you and Ron Wyatt got together.
Well, I've got a video on that. We're
Okay.
talking about you now, Vicki.
You're good like Johnny Carson. He always let the guest be the star of the show. I have been on talk shows where the host talks the whole time. And
Oh.
I'm like, why did you ask me to be here if you're going to talk the whole time? So you're a good one like Johnny Carson. You're a good
Oh,
host.
well, thank you.
Well, cancer, yes.
Mhm.
Cancer has inspired some of my best songs and poems. And I I am not sad or scared about it, uh, which is kind of like amazes me. Like, oh, this faith in Jesus thing must be real because I feel his presence. I feel him coming through the window,
Yes.
light. Yay, Jesus.
Yes.
Because, like, my whole life, you read about death since I was 6. Oh, death, where is your victory? Oh, Hades, death, grave, where is thy sting? I was thinking about death since I was 6
Oh,
because
my.
when you're in church, they talk about it all the time.
Right.
And they always talk about it as the best day of your life, actually. For me to live as Christ, to die as gain, absent from the body, present with the Lord. So, when I first got diagnosed, my daughters, they texted me or something and said, "How do you feel?" And I said, "Well, I don't think if Jesus got diagnosed, he would freak out. I don't think he would run his car into a tree. I don't think he would take an overdose of sleeping pills. I don't think he would stay in bed all day. I think he would keep preaching the gospel every second and be happy and excited." And so I am. And so when I was, when my diagnosis, I said it on my Instagram channel because I didn't want whispers and gossip to, be like, I'm like, I want to be in control of my story. So I read my diagnosis on actually for the first time when I knew the doctor was going to send me an email of what my diagnosis was, whatever. I read it online, and then all the newspapers wrote, sensational headlines, and my daughters
Oh,
calling each other like, isn't that weird that mommy's in the headlines? Like, she's dying soon.
oh no.
Tragic, you know, basically, I had breast cancer. I got diagnosed in 2015. Breast cancer is very common, and lots of people have it and are living with it, um, because medicine has advanced a lot. And so 2015, I had double mastectomy, a radiation, chemo. I went bald. I tried to make fun out
Mm.
of it and got colorful wigs. I wrote a book called Lavender Hair about my favorite wig, which was lavender. And I wrote some of my best songs. I wrote "It's a Broken World, Baby," because it's a broken world since the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
Oh, it's a broken world, baby, since even Adam gave in. But there's a new world coming. That's why my song has a grin. So I wrote that, and then I made a video. Look, Jesus is coming in the window.
It
He
sure
wa-
looks like it.
So he could come back before we both die.
He could. I'm counting on that.
Yeah. And so I got all that done. And then I was cancer free for 9 years, and I forgot about it. And then I started coughing a year ago and couldn't stop. And they found there was a breast cancer cells growing in near my windpipe, restricting my breathing. So they zapped it with radiation, which side effect is bone cancer, I think, or something. I don't know. I have no pain, so I'm happy.
Good.
I'm sure if I was in pain, I have a little pain, like, but I don't know if that's just old age, like back and hips and
You're
joints.
not old. Stop it.
So anyway, very grateful for everything.
Yes.
And I take one pill a day, and I keep looking at my picture because Jesus is
I
coming.
know. It does look like it. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Wow.
So anyway, to finish my other thought, that all the religions of the world say works for salvation,
Hmm.
but Ephesians 2, 8 and 9 says, "For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is a gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast." For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. So anyway, I just heard a great sermon on that by Josh Howerton at Lake Point Church in Dallas. If anyone wants to hear great preaching, and my son-in-law's a preacher too, and he's a great preacher too.
I heard.
Very proud. But anyway, Josh was just talking about the gospel and works for salvation like yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. Not that it's not always there, but see, I never stop talking, Mary. Now, I'm sorry. I never.
I love it. That's what I want. Because out of your mouth is coming things that are important. You're a wise girl. You really are. And your attitude. You see, and I know you've met Christians who are solemn faced and all, and that's not what being a Christian is all about. And I love you talking about your daddy. You watched him reading the Bible and all. I did that with my grandmother in Colombia. And I remember when I asked her, I said, Nanny, who's your favorite person in the Bible? And she thought for a minute and she said, Moses. And I thought that was interesting.
Why did she say Moses?
She didn't give me an answer. She just
Oh,
kept reading and, but, and I didn't really think about it until later, you
mm,
know. I got to tell you this at lunch. I guess it was a week or so ago. I told my, well, I guess it was this last week when I told my daughter that I was going to have you, I was going to do my podcast for the first time, and you were my guest. And her face lit up, and she said, "Oh, I know who she is. She had taken her son to see you when you performed with some other Christian comedians at Puckett's.
oh
You
yeah.
remember that?
I
Yeah.
vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably been a while, you
Yeah.
know, but you're still impacting people to this day.
Aw, well, that's sweet. There's a verse in the Bible about when you're old, you can be fresh and flourishing. Do you remember what that verse is?
I don't.
You know what?
Mm,
Whoever's watching, Google fresh and flourishing Bible verse, and it'll bring it up. And it's so encouraging because God's not, God used Abraham got pregnant with Isaac. I mean, his wife,
hmm
when he was like 100 and she was like
Yeah,
90. So God can use old people.
of course he can.
Yeah,
And, you know, I don't really think of us as old.
I don't either, but it's kind of on my mind because we were listening to a sermon. I was very affected by Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
a picture of him right over there, right there.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yes.
from an artist. And
Oh,
yeah, I bought it online from an artist. But I've never known a Christian martyr before or heard of
yeah,
in America, the land of the
yeah,
free, where we have freedom of speech.
right.
And so I was deeply affected. And there was this one pastor who didn't even acknowledge that Charlie Kirk was a martyr. I mean, Charlie told the gospel right before he was killed. He had just told they don't show this video a lot. They show the question. But first he told the gospel, then he was asked that question, and then he started to answer, and then he got shot. But he first told the gospel. And so I saw the video.
Mm.
Of course, we don't know what to believe nowadays because of AI. And my neighbor said she doesn't think Charlie and his wife are real human beings. She thinks they're AI.
Oh, no.
So it's like, who knows what to believe anymore? But if there really is a human being named Charlie Kirk, he was so beautiful. Um,
Yes,
how bold he was to tell the gospel and to encourage young people who are being brainwashed
yes,
to worship Satan. And I've been praying for the last like 15 years. Lord, please raise up some Billy Grahams. Please raise up some young men who love you, who can be examples for this generation because they
hmm
don't have any. They have
That's true.
demonic things in
I know.
culture that are saying we're cool, we're cool. And I said, please rise up some Billy Grahams. And all of a sudden, Charlie Kirk comes on all of our radar. I had just found out about him recently. And then his death made everyone look at his videos. And in
Yeah,
his videos, he has the love of Jesus pouring out of him as he welcomes people who disagree. Talk to me, and he was so Christ-like in that way. But
yeah,
then when some pastors won't even acknowledge it, it's like, what? And then this pastor who wouldn't acknowledge it because he didn't want to be political, which I think the whole Bible's political, and everything's political.
mm,
Um, this pastor, he made fun of the parents. He was talking to the congregation. I watched 5 pastors on Sunday. We go to church on Saturday night at our local church
hmm
so we can sleep in on Sunday because we're late night people.
Yeah.
So on Sunday morning, I watch like five preachers, uh, who I love on different cities that I've lived in. And so this one who ignored Charlie Kirk, he kind of said something like, "Oh, and to all you people's parents who watch the news all day," and he was like dissing us, and it made me
Oh,
so mad. I had to make an Instagram about it because I've never had time to watch TV in my whole life. And I'm very curious what's happening in world events because number one, it's prophetic biblically. Number
yeah.
two, I want my children to grow up in a free country that I grew up in with freedom of speech and freedom to worship Jesus Christ without being killed. And, it's very important to me that when I die, my children have freedom and my grandchildren. And that's why our military risked their lives and died so that our generations to come could have that. And so I was mad at that pastor. But anyway,
Well, you don't happen to have your ukulele handy, do you?
I could find it. You
Do
want to
you
hear?
mind? Yeah.
This is one of the ones I wrote when I had cancer. Okay. It's called it's a broken, it's a broken It's a broken world, baby. Tattoo of a broken ukulele. No, the trouble with this is that you might not hear the uke,
Maybe not.
but you'll hear the words.
Okay.
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 Tattoo of a broken ukulele, light blue, turquoise lights. He might leave me in the middle of my chemo. I would not be so surprised. Yeah, I got cancer and so did my dog. My car won't start and my sink has a clog. My my checks are bouncing, but my trampoline's torn. I am not surprised because I'm in war. It's a broken world, baby. I know you agree. The second law of thermodynamics says the world is in a state of entropy. That's a fancy word for broken, you see. Lammy's back is causing him pain. Bob's OCD is driving Donna insane. Dilbert's dad, he needs a diagnosis. I quit kissing Daisy because she had some halitosis. He's my dog. My heart is broken and I stubbed my big toe. I just got fired at my folks' cheer. I accidentally stepped onto my ukulele, which I did right here
Oh,
with high heels on a stage, tripping over the wires. I accidentally stepped onto my ukulele, rushing to say hi to my new neighbor, the Israeli. Well, you try to rhyme with ukulele. Hey, girl, baby, since even I gave in, but there's more good. That's why my son has a grin. Jesus is coming soon, morning or night or noon. I'm gonna meet him in the sky, in the twinkling of an eye.
that's
Yeah.
awesome, Vicky. Oh, we couldn't hear it very good. We couldn't hear the ukulele at all. But
Yeah.
wow, I like the way you ended it. I really do. Well,
Well,
we've been talking a long time now, and I cannot tell you how much I thank you for this.
Mary Nell, are you gonna have this weekly? Is it gonna be once a week?
I don't know that I can do it once a week. I don't know that many people. But I'll
Oh,
try to do one every couple of weeks or something. And because people have things to offer, like you.
I'll introduce you to some people who like to talk.
Okay.
And I want you to tell your audience. I want you to tell them about where the Ark of the Covenant is hidden.
Oh,
I think do you have a video of that already?
yeah. After you sent me that article about the CIA, I made a
Okay.
video about that. They
You
got a lot of
did?
stuff right.
Really?
Yeah.
Where where can we watch that video?
It's on our YouTube channel. I'll send you a link. Now tell me
Okay,
how do people find
okay.
your YouTube channel?
Okay, first tell me how to find your YouTube channel.
Uh,
What's it?
okay. Ours is you just put at Ron Wyatt com. You don't have to put the period in. Ron Wyatt, you put in ronwyatt.com. That's actually the name of our YouTube channel.
Okay. Is and so to find me, they can go on my Instagram. It's Victoria Jackson Official. And I don't understand the at thing. Someone has to
Yeah.
explain it to me. And on my YouTube, it's just called Victoria Jackson now. It used to be called Ukulele Gal, but
Okay.
YouTube froze me out. They froze me.
They
And
did?
yeah, they did. They used to be more censorship before Elon Musk
Oh,
changed Twitter.
really?
I got kicked off of all of the things, Facebook, because I was posting things against abortion and against
Yeah.
COVID vaccine and stuff. So they canceled my stuff. So then I had to start over. So my YouTube is now called Victoria Jackson, I think.
I'll find it. I mean, I've got it marked, so I'll find it and I'll post it on this video because I think people would enjoy seeing you. I really do.
Well, I think they're going to enjoy seeing you and listening to your Southern lilt.
Wow. Okay.
So, oh, it reminds me of some actress. Um, Her name starts with an A. I'll think of it.
Oh,
But yeah, you're beautiful inside and outside,
oh
and
goodness, Vicky.
I love your drawl.
Well, I love you, Vicky, because you reflect the love of Jesus, and that's
So
what we all need.
we do.
We all need it. And we'll say goodbye now. And I want to thank everyone for watching and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next episode. It probably will be in a couple of weeks. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you, Mary Nell. I love you.
I love you too.